Yeah, no, I was more curious if it was something that would be more emotional in terms of shopping, or if it was something that was more like that's kind of just a hassle to do that type
I
of
think
thing.
it's a hassle to do it.
Mhm. Yeah. So, where do you think you would go first to find that type of product? Like, where would you look first?
At what store or?
No, so let's say that you're in the grocery store and you're looking for you've heard about you've Googled this OTC product for ED, and you're in the store and you remember about it and you want to go shopping for it. Where would you look in the store for it?
I would go to the pharmacy.
To the pharmacy, okay. And where in the pharmacy? So you got your cart, you go to the pharmacy section. Where next?
Um, Gosh, that's a good question. Um, I probably would go to where the condoms were.
Okay.
I guess I probably would go there because that would be kind of a men's health type thing, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay. All right. So if you went there to look at that aisle or part of the aisle and it wasn't there, where would you expect to find it next? Like where would you go? Where would you look second?
Possibly in the area where, like, the what is it called? Lubricants and that sort of stuff. Maybe there.
Okay. Why there?
Again, it's related to sexual activity, so maybe it would be in that same area.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hadn't
How
thought of that.
might you use your phone, Donna? Like so whenever you're shopping and you got your phone out, do you use your phone while you're shopping at all, just in general?
Yes.
Yeah, how do you use your phone whenever you're shopping?
A lot of times I'll check prices. I was at Target last week and I was getting just some simple stuff, and I thought, well, I wonder. I'm going to go to Kroger next, so I thought I'll check to see what the price is at Kroger before I buy it at Target in case it's on sale at Kroger and maybe I have a coupon. Um, so I use it for pricing for the most part. I guess that's, and I also use Ibotta for items, to see if there's some sort of special. I don't know that I would do that. I would buy an item like this because of a discount necessarily, but in terms of using my phone at the grocery store, that's how I use it.
Okay. Whenever you think about potentially using your smartphone in conjunction when shopping in the store for this type of product, an OTC product for the treatment of ED, how might you think about using your phone there? Would it also be to check prices? Would it be something else?
It would probably be to get, I would probably Google what's the best, see what pops up. I might see if there's any reviews um, on a particular item over another one.
Okay, so more some comparison there, kind of
Yes.
looking at different products. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So imagine that there was a display, Donna, in the store for the over-the-counter ED medication. Whenever I say that, like, what comes to mind? Just describe what you see in your mind.
Just a display at the store. I would probably see. I would probably think it looks like vitamin bottles, and maybe there's one or two shelves that shelvings, that are maybe a 24 inches wide and two up and down. I don't know, something like that. That's the way I see it. I don't know that I would see it as being an end cap advertised type thing.
Okay. Why not? I'm curious.
Because usually they relegate stuff that is either on sale there or like a seasonal item, and I don't think that qualifies on either in either category.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So if there was a display, so let's take this in two parts. Let's say there's a display there on the shelf. Is there anything that you would want it to not look like not want it to be this, not have this information, that type of thing?
So I'm thinking of when you go to Walmart, they have things in the aisle where it's like a cardboard deal and all the stuff sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's stuff at the top, writing at the top. I would not want, I just don't think that type of item is something you want to be, you know, hello, hello, look at me necessarily. If you're looking for it, you go and find it, or you ask someone to help you find it, but you don't need the flashing lights and here's what it does. Here's all the print about it. I don't know that that's what I would want to see.
Okay. So would you want to consult with somebody about the products? You mentioned you might have a conversation.
I might ask the pharmacist.
Mm-hmm. And so what's the ideal way that conversation would happen? Would you go up to the pharmacist?
Yeah. I would just go up to the counter and have maybe a couple and say, do you know about these? Is one better than the other?
Mm-hmm.
If I've already looked it up and I've seen and I didn't get an information that I thought was good enough, then I would ask. So, do you know anything about it?
What
I
information?
wouldn't be embarrassed to ask that.
Okay, good. What information might not be enough? So, if there is specific information that you're asking the pharmacist about the product, what do you think you might not have been able to find that you would want to ask their opinion about?
I would ask if it was something that was suitable to take with the other medications that he's on. I think that would be important because I wouldn't want to cause any more, I wouldn't want to cause a problem when there wasn't one with drug interaction.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you wouldn't feel any concern or apprehension about talking to the pharmacist about an OTC ED medication?
I wouldn't. I'm sure there are people who it would mortify them,
but you're not one of those.
I'm not one of those people. Apparently, I'm not.
Very good. Okay, so let's say you have that conversation with the pharmacist and the pharmacist answers your questions. Does that influence your opinion of which product to choose or make you more likely to buy or not buy it?
I might take whatever that pharmacist gave me as additional information based on what I already had, and then make a decision, my own decision, based on all of what I've been able to get. I think the biggest thing for me would just be a concern of drug interaction with over-the-counter medication with the medicine that he takes that he needs. So I wouldn't want to cause a problem with that.
Yep. No,
like just even cold medicine, I'm careful about making sure that I get the right cold medicine so that it doesn't interact. So I would be careful with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He probably would not care about that and just buy whatever's on the counter, but I would be concerned about that.
Okay, good to know. All right, so we've talked about shopping in a store for this type of over-the-counter ED medication. Let's talk about what that might look like if you're looking for that online. So imagine you're online kind of shopping for the same product. What is that experience like for you? What would you want it to be like?
I would do the same thing. What's the best over-the-counter ED medication and see what pops up. I do that for every item I buy for. If it's something I haven't bought before, I'll look up items and look to see if there's reviews. You can get reviews on Amazon. Consumer Reports may have, had some sort of article or, things like that. I would just look to see if there's any. I think I would use it for more which one is the one I don't want versus the one I do want. I would want to make sure I'm not getting one that is not as got as good reviews as the others. I would be looking for the ones that are better.
All right.
So I would sort it out by choosing well, this one has horrible reviews, this one has better, I would probably go with the one that had better reviews.
Okay. Is there anything else besides reviews that would help you kind of choose which one not to include or which one that you wouldn't get?
I might look at the pharmaceutical company that it came from and just see if that's a company that I have heard good things about versus not so good things about. I mean, since we're talking about something I'm not necessarily familiar with, I'm kind of in loose territory here. But if it's something that if it's a company that I'd heard not good things about, that might influence my decision not to choose it.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So you said that you would just kind of go online and search for best OTC ED medication. Is that through Google?
Mm-hmm.
Then okay, and so then you'd start looking at some reviews, and would you look at anything else? So would you be looking for any additional information beyond reviews?
I would look at like the type of how often you have to take this over-the-counter medication. Is it something that you take daily? Is it something you take only when you need to take it, like a Viagra or Cialis? Or is it something that builds up in your system? Or, how often you have to take it, when you take it? I would look at all those things to coordinate with what the reviews say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you feel any different, Donna, in terms of shopping online for an over-the-counter ED medication versus shopping in store?
No, I would have no qualms about that.
Okay. In terms of things that so we talked a little bit about things you might not want to have happen in an in-store environment whenever you're shopping in store. Is there anything you wouldn't want to have happen while you're shopping for this product online?
I think it's a given that as soon as you start looking it up, then you're going to get ads on your screen every few days after that of here's another thing we saw you were looking at this, we're going to show you this one. So I think that's a given, a pop-up, but that's fine.
A pop-up. Okay, got it. And you just would kind of dismiss those then. Yeah. Where do you think you would shop online? So we talked about kind of your research process or looking at reviews and other things. Where do you think you would end up shopping for it online?
I probably, if all things were the same, I would go with wherever the item was the cheapest. If all things were the same. Mm-hmm. I buy a lot of things on Amazon. But then I also buy a lot of things online at Target. Those are the two stores that I do a lot of just ordinary shopping on. So those would probably be the two that I would look at first.
Okay. So separate from an over-the-counter ED medication, have you bought other over-the-counter general medications online?
Mm-hmm.
Have you? Okay. And was that also through Amazon?
But it was just like simple stuff like, aspirin or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other retailers online that you would consider buying an over-the-counter ED medication from?
Well, it would always be possible to look at the company that the pharmaceutical company that owns it. A lot of times, there are ways to buy direct. So I mean, I would look at that too.
Okay, and that would be something you would consider if you could buy it direct versus buy it through a retailer.
Right.
Whenever you think about, okay, I'm on Target or I'm on Amazon, what type of information are you looking for there? So let's start from whenever you first get on that retailer's website. How are you going to find an over-the-counter ED medication?
Well, they all have search bars, so I would start there.
Okay. What would you type in?
OTC ED medication.
Okay. Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
And what information would you expect to find on the retailer's website? So you type that in, you press search, some things come up. What happens next?
I would just scroll down through and see, which ones are the choices. I would look at price per pill, or however it's packaged. I would look at that. I would look at any if there are side effects listed. I would look at that. If there were drug interaction information, I would look at that.
We talked a little bit about some of the information you might look to find whenever you're kind of an in-store environment. So let's say you land on that product page and you see some of that information, you see the price per pill, you see the side effects listed. What else would you be looking for there? What other information, descriptions, details would be helpful for you as you're comparing products or as you're learning more about that product?
How long it lasts, how soon you have to take it, or what the protocol is for using it. Those things would need to be there.
Would you want to consult with somebody about the over-the-counter ED medication if you were shopping online?
So if there's like a little chat box,
Yeah.
yes, I could do that.
Yeah. Okay. What's the ideal way for that to happen? Is that something you initiate, or?
Yeah, I mean, if there was an option, I would look on the webpage and see if there was a help or a chat option. And if there was, I would use it. It's hard to get people on the phone, so I would probably use that.
Okay. What questions do you think you might ask in that chat, or if you were able to connect with someone?
Again, I would ask about drug interaction and, how often you have to take it. Those would be the two main things that I would be concerned about.
Okay. Would it be helpful? So let's stay with that theme there, Donna. So if there's an option to chat with somebody about it, is there a type of person you might want to chat with?
I mean, it would always be great if there was someone there who actually either A, had used the product, or B, had the pharmaceutical background to be able to advise appropriately. But
Okay.
I'm just guessing that's not always going to be the option.
Okay, but if it was an option,
if it was on the pharmaceutical website or a drug aggregator type thing where you were interacting with people that had a pharmaceutical background, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, got it. So if there was an option or it was available where you could chat with a pharmacist or someone else with a medical background, that would be a helpful component of shopping online.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Great. All right. Well, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show a video to you. So, so just give me a second here. I promise the video is rated PG too, so you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to pull it up here, Donna, and then I just want you to give me a thumbs up that you can hear it and see it okay. Okay?
You've decided you're ready to deal with your ED, and now you can do it quickly and discreetly thanks to Cialis OTC.
Okay, I'm going to pause. You can see it and hear it? Okay, I'm going to rewind it just so that I want to make sure you can see it and hear it.
Ready to deal with your ED, and now you can do it quickly and discreetly thanks to Cialis OTC. With Cialis OTC, you don't have to make an appointment with a doctor or get a prescription and pick up your medicine at the pharmacy. Simply register online with an email address or phone number. Then take a few short minutes to answer some health-related questions to make sure Cialis OTC is right for you. After completing the survey, you may receive a code to purchase Cialis OTC. Some men may need to consult a doctor or a pharmacist first to make sure it can be used safely. This, fortunately, can be done right away with your device. With the code, you'll have 3 contactless and easy-to-use options to purchase: online and ship to home, online and pick up in store, or purchase in-store. Opt for in-store purchase, and the code unlocks the product at shelf without you needing to talk to anyone at checkout. When it's sent to your door, be sure it will arrive discreetly packaged. For the next 3 months, use the profile you set up and answer as few as 3 questions to reactivate your purchase code when you're ready to buy again. ED shouldn't be a barrier in your sex life, and neither should be getting the only ED OTC medication.
All right, great. You were able to see that and hear that okay?
Brilliant.
Awesome. Okay,
That's
yeah.
brilliant.
What are your initial reactions to that?
I think that's pretty interesting. I think
What's
that
in-
a lot of people would be very appealing.
What do you find interesting about that?
I think it's interesting that you can do everything online. You would feel like it's personal and private, and then you can get the medication. It can ship it to your house. I mean, good grief, how much easier can that be? And it's through the pharmaceutical company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, was there anything that was confusing in that video for you, Donna?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward. You answered the questions. They either say, yes, we can go ahead and move forward, or you're going to need to talk to a person there with Cialis, and then you do it continued, every 3 months, as long as you're answering the questions.
Mm-hmm. So how did you feel about the technology that was shown in that video?
I think it's very easy, and I think most people nowadays are very comfortable with that.
And so would you say that's something, does that feel like that's something that's approachable, or is it intimidating?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
for most people that would be pretty easy. I mean, people use their cell phones for so many things. I mean, you can do telehealth appointments on your cell phone. So
Mm-hmm.
this is not that much far removed.
Mm-hmm. So in that video, it showed that there was a purchase code that was needed to purchase the product that you mentioned.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I just think it's kind of a version of a prescription.
Say more about that.
Well, you have answered the appropriate questions based on the pharmaceutical company's criteria in order to allow you to have a prescription. In the doctor's office, they're going to write you a script. Here, it's apparently, you're not getting a doctor's prescription per se, but you are getting a code that validates the fact that they agree and you agree that this medication is right for you. And I think
is that a good thing?
I think it is a good thing because I think it's controlled.
Mm-hmm. And when you say controlled, what do you mean by that?
I think that code, I'm sure, is it is specific to the person getting the prescription. So no one else could use that code.
And that's good because
you're making sure that only in the medical world, which I work in, that's important to make sure that medications are going to the right people.
So when you saw this video, so let's say you were just surfing around the internet and you saw this video, is it something you would tell your husband about?
Probably.
Okay. How might that conversation go?
I would say this looks like it's pretty easy. All you have to do is answer the questions and see what happens. There's no, for some people, if that would be embarrassing maybe to ask the doctor, here you're not. It is truly a very private interaction.
Okay. And so let's say that Walt took the survey and got the code for the product. How would you feel about using his code to pick up the product in store for him? Any concerns there?
I don't think so, because it would be something that I would have access to. I would assume that they would ask for identification or something like that.
That's good. All right. Whenever you think about this video, Donna, so you said there wasn't anything that was confusing. Is there anything that would make this video better or easier to understand or more helpful for someone like you who is a partner of someone who's suffering from ED?
No, I mean, I really feel like it was very straightforward. I don't know how I don't know how else you can say those things any clearer without making it a 5-minute video.
Okay. How did you feel? So it wasn't a 5-minute video. It was a little bit shorter than that. How do you feel about the length of the video? Was it too short, too long?
No, it was appropriate.
Appropriate.
It has just enough information that might pique someone's interest to look into it further.
Okay. And if you saw that and you wanted to look into it further, where would you go next?
I didn't look at the very tail end of the thing, but I would assume that you could go to, there has to be some way to either go to a Cialis OTC website. I'm sure there was something that I could have Googled or gone to see that very same video again.
Got it. Okay. So just some way to connect the end of that video then with a way to access additional information, right, whatever that might be. Okay, sounds good. Is this a video that you would want to see played in a store environment or only online?
I don't know that I would want that in a store, because you can't necessarily control the audience.
Okay.
I mean, there could be little kids in the pharmacy. They might not necessarily, you get 8 and 10-year-old boys, they're going to ask questions. What is that about?
What's that mean? Yes, I understand that. So, okay, great. All right. Well, I wanted to be respectful of your time. I know we had some technical difficulties there, so thanks for coming back. And I'm glad that it wasn't just me. So, as you think about our discussion today, Donna, was there anything that you wanted to elaborate on, or anything that came up through the course of our conversation that you wanted to talk more about or share anything further on?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, this has been really helpful. I definitely appreciate the feedback here and just your openness and willingness to talk through your journey, as well as share your thoughts on shopping for some of these types of products. So thank you very much. It was really helpful for me, and thanks for your time. I certainly appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of the day.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Donna. Bye now. All right. Thanks, Isabella. Really appreciate your help helping to troubleshoot for her.
No problem. Happy to help.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks.